Hey everybody, good Monday morning. Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. We've got the threat for some strong storms on your Tuesday, and it's kind of an interesting setup. The timing of the front might work out better for the western Carolinas than the eastern Carolinas. Very strong storm system. If you've seen the pictures this morning out of Dallas, the tornadoes and severe weather in the southern plains last night, that same system is heading our way. Let me show you what it looks like. A little wide view here first. You can see the cold front back to the west and a lot of energy along this. The main upper low is up here in the Midwest, but there's a little disturbance moving along the front that's going to be heading our way later tonight and really early on, basically early on Tuesday morning into the afternoon hours. Let me quickly show you the severe weather threat for tomorrow. You can see most of the Piedmont is in the low to medium threat. The western part of the state could see a strong storm overnight, but I really think it's going to be east of I-77 because these will be the areas over here that have the best chance for seeing the instability, which is heating of the day. Basically, these areas will have the longer opportunity for warm, humid air to kind of build up from the north or from the south and move into the region. That's really going to set the stage for potentially some really strong storms that develop east of I-77 and maybe more towards I-95 during the afternoon. And just to show you the severe weather outlook for us, I'll show you what it looks like as we see the impacts. I think the main impact overall is likely going to be straight line winds, but we can't rule out an isolated tornado. So let me real quickly show you that severe weather outlook. Here you go. You can see it. There's the impacts, damaging winds, the low end threat. But notice the tornado threat is what we like to call a non-zero threat. I don't think it's a huge issue, but I could see east of I-77 enough vorticity or spinning in the atmosphere, wind shear, to help spin up an isolated tornado or two. That certainly looks like a distinct possibility. And I'll show you why I think that. We'll go right to the water vapor loop, which shows the main system up here over the Midwest. But you see this blob coming over the Gulf of Mexico? What's happening here is what happens on the backside of these troughs sometimes. The main low is up here, but there's little disturbances that move along this and come up from the south. So this is what we have to watch across the southeast and especially eastern North Carolina tomorrow during the afternoon. So let's go back and I'll kind of show you, break down what I think is going to happen as far as the timing of all this. So here's the view right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load in the guidance, the model, and kind of show you how this is going to progress our future cast through time. So I'm going to stop this real quickly and we'll load up that guidance. So here we go. Here is a look at what's happening right now. You can see the time here about 8:30 in the morning when the model was run. And then we'll go through this afternoon. Notice the progression of the front pushing to the east. We'll get to tonight and we could see some showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder make it to the mountains tonight. But I think the threat overall is pretty low. We'll go into the overnight hours and then we'll get towards midnight tonight. You can see some rain moving into the Carolinas, and the main front is still back here. So notice this is just shower. It doesn't look very stormy at all. In fact, this actually could help stabilize things a little bit ahead of the main line. We'll go into the pre-dawn hours. This is 5 o'clock in the morning, and you start to notice down towards Atlanta to the upstate, these are the storms we'll be keeping an eye on. Where do they move up in this direction? Because remember, at the same time, south winds are pumping in some really warm, humid air, which would set the stage for some strong storms. So this is 8 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow morning. Notice the showers and yes, some thunderstorms across the Charlotte area, Greenville, Asheville, heading up towards Winston-Salem. So this is 9 o'clock essentially in the morning. So again, these storms right here, we'll have to keep an eye on from Salisbury down towards the Midlands of South Carolina. And then they push to the east by 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And then we get into the afternoon. This is where we'll have to watch eastern North Carolina. So you remember, the sun's up for a couple hours here. Things are heating up in eastern North Carolina. And we potentially could see some strong storms develop here as we go through time. Let me load a couple more frames in here. I'm going to load this up real quickly. Give me one second as we load this up. Okay. So here we go. 8, 9, 10, 11. And notice in the eastern part of the state, we see those storms. But then right here, about noon, it looks like the main front comes through. So it looks like a line could form. Now, this doesn't look real impressive, but that's another thing to watch. And you see it starting to light up here by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So there might be this second line, and right there, those areas from Union County east is where we're in that medium threat. This might be the area we'll have to watch, so 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just to show you some of the other guidance here. One of the things I look at quite a bit here is something we call the significant tornado parameter. This is a parameter I look at to see what's the threat for rotating storms. And if I loop this out to tomorrow afternoon, this is about 2 o'clock. You can see now the highest STP values become significant tornado are along the coast. But notice there's a faint 0.5, not huge, nothing certainly off the charts, but there is just a little hint there that we could have some rotation. And this is that thunderstorm fuel or instability. You can see there's just enough. So overall, the ingredients for this is not really high, but there's just enough crossover. And if you notice where this is, I-77 is roughly right here. This area right in here tomorrow is the area to watch as we go into the afternoon. And lastly, I'll show you what we call updraft helicity. So this is essentially what the model is trying to show us is, are there going to be rotating storms? So I'm going to loop this and we'll go out through time tonight into tomorrow morning. I'm going to stop this at 8 a.m. tomorrow. And you can see the values are right here on the left, really low to really high rotational values. Not really anything too worrisome, but down here towards Columbia, a few storms could be rotating. Doesn't necessarily mean tornadoes, just means rotating updrafts, which is something we look at for severe weather in general. Hail, strong winds, and yes, tornadoes. So you can see those rotating through, and this is roughly around 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon, 1, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. And notice that 2, 3 p.m. time range, I-95 here, there's a couple stronger indications from Florence. So you can see there's nothing that jumps off this as, whoa, Brad, that looks really bad tomorrow. But, you know, for October, this is a decent little setup that we'll have to keep an eye on. You can see in the eastern part of the state as we go towards tomorrow afternoon, a much higher risk there. So again, these are the areas we need to watch for tomorrow. Areas in orange right here, a little bit over Charlotte, but I really think these will be the areas we'll watch. So just be weather aware tomorrow. It's one of those days. We'll have the potential for some strong storms during the afternoon and something to keep an eye on as we go through tomorrow afternoon. It's one of those kind of severe weather days. I'm just giving you a heads up. Nothing too off the charts here, but a day to be weather aware. Have a great day, everybody.